Hello and welcome to Popcorn News, something to watch while you eat popcorn. Today is November 15th, 2015. The time is approximately 4:40 a.m. Central Standard Time. To begin, let us tilt back in the chair. Okay, so because I kind of need to relax a little. The big news, or what I call the big spasm, is the events in France of November 13th, late in the evening, 2015. It's a spasm. The waves roll in, the waves roll out. The waves roll in, the waves roll out. Last week, the big spasm was with the university in Missouri. On the scale of 1 to 10 in the spasm meter, I give that about a 3. The Friday the 13th events in France, I give that a higher rating on the spasm meter, maybe an 8. A 10 on the spasm meter would be a nuclear attack or a huge earthquake, something like that. But it's just a spasm. Of course, sure, there's sympathy for the victims and everything. But the news is just having a huge spasm. That's how I see it. And then the waves will roll out, and something else will happen, and another news spasm will erupt. I had in the November 13th popcorn news talked about the origin of the Friday the 13th superstition. Today, November 13th, 2015, happens to be a Friday. Hence, today is Friday the 13th, considered by some to be unlucky. However, the true significance of Friday the 13th involves the Knights Templar. And then, lo and behold, after I had published the video, again in France, on a Friday the 13th, an unlucky event that there was this bunch of people got killed by shootings in various locations. But it's just a spasm, a news spasm, and not to denigrate the suffering of the people involved, but just watch till next week how there will be something else in a new spasm. So that's my brilliant thoughts on the Paris attacks. But to get to the real subject is Poland, the land of Po. I had been grasping for some kind of handle on Poland. What exactly can we say about Poland? Well, Poe. That came at Poe, Edgar Allan Poe. It is the Poe land. It is the land of Poe.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had tried to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore.
But then it occurred to me that there's, from this book, The Lost Language of Symbolism by Harold Bailey, originally published in 2 volumes in 1912, republished in 2006 by Dover Publications of Mineola, New York, in a single volume. And in that book, in here, I'm sorry, but I gotta rely on some notes. Bailey says that language is the fossil. A close and intimate relation exists between symbolism and philology. What he's saying is that you can find in different languages throughout the world common roots, and these common roots are the fossil of an older universal language, a language of not just philology but symbolism, that there's an intimate relation between the two. These fossils are monosyllables. They are the debris of a prehistoric, almost extinct universal parent language. And this goes contrary to ideas that we are taught that human civilization has steadily climbed onward and upward from the beginning, and that it's not the case that civilizations have risen and fallen, that there had been great civilizations in the past, universal civilization. There's somebody, a writer called Julius Evola, who goes into this. They try and convey this mass hypnosis that this is not so, but there have been great civilizations in the past, universal civilizations. Among the monosyllabic fossils are L, Pa, Ma, and Ak. The ancient root Ak once signified great or mighty. The names of Karnak in France and Karnak in Egypt share the fossil root Ak. The Karnak is the great cairn, or heap of stones, covering a grave. The children of Anak in Deuteronomy were Ak, great and tall, and giants. In Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 2, we find a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? Another of the universal fossil roots is Po, P-O, as in Poland. Among the ancient Egyptians, Po was rendered I-O and was identified with Isis. Among the Mayans of Central America, I-O was a sacrosanct term implying all that which lives and moves, the spirit of the universe. There's a tribe in New Zealand known as the Maoris, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. For them, Io or Po was Mother Darkness. The North American Indian word for water is Po. Po is the Chinese for lake. In Europe, there once was, and maybe still is, a river named Po. Also, in the old TV series Kung Fu, one of Kwai Chang Cain's main masters was Master Po.
You are the new student. Come closer.
You cannot see.
You think I cannot see.
Of all things, to live in darkness must be the worst.
Fear is the only darkness.
So you can see that Po is significant or meaningful in the name Poland. Poland is the fulcrum of the teeter-totter. If you look on a map, you'll see that Poland is right in the middle of Russia on the one side and Europe on the other side. Poland is the fulcrum of the teeter-totter. So watch Poland. See what they're doing. I will try to do this even if the so-called news chooses to ignore what's happening. Thank you for watching Popcorn News.